What's going on, guys? Today, I just want to give you one way to deal with pre-game nerves. I know all of us as athletes have gotten nerves at some point. Some of us deal with the nerves a little bit better than others. Some of us have strategies. Some of us have some ways to cope with those nerves. And some of us get stuck in our nerves. Some of us struggle because of our nerves. Some of us get held back because of our nerves. Some of us, we have a constraint. We have a stranglehold on our ability to compete because of our nerves. So I just want to give you one technique to evaluate the way you deal with your nerves and evaluate the way that you're perceiving the game, the way that you're perceiving everything around you, everything that you see, everything that you hear, everything that you feel, okay? So as athletes, we're constantly taking in information. We're constantly processing information. We're processing from people, right? We're processing it from our teammates, from our parents, from our coaches, from fans. We're constantly processing information from people. We're also processing information about where we are, the physical location that we're at, right? What court we're at, and we give status. We give, different feelings, different sensations labeled to different areas. Think about your favorite place to go train. That gives you a completely different feeling. That gives you a completely different sensation than a place where you might have had a game and you didn't perform well, right? So then when you think of that place, some of us get nerves because we didn't perform in that place before, or maybe it's a place that we've never been. There's always the fear of the unknown, but there's always something associated to place. So this is how to deal with your nerves, right? You have all sorts of information coming in, right? So we talked about people, we talked about place. You have information coming in about different things in your sport. So think about your uniform, think about your equipment, think about the things that are in your sport specifically. So, our shoes, so on and so forth. And then we're always evaluating, we're bringing in information about what we're actually doing, right? The physical activity, the actual movement that we're engaged in. And then the final piece of that is that we're taking in information about the specific details that we understand about our game, right? So we have information coming into us as athletes from 5 different places, right? It's simple grammar. It's, go back to your English class, but this is how our brain evaluates information. This is actually what grammar is built on, right? So we're bringing in information from people, place, thing, activity, and information, right? So we have all of this information coming from external sources, but this is going to help you deal with your nerves. We also are taking in information and we're making evaluations internally. So we have those 5 things that I just talked about from the outside that are influencing us, that may be making us nervous, right? And we have information from our inside. So we have that internal voice, that internal dialogue, that internal person, that internal voice that says yes or no. You can do this, you can't do this. That voice is ever present. And it's in everyone, it's in all of us. So how do you take that information, right? And how do you make the best evaluation? How do you make the best decision for yourself? How do you make the best decisions? And how do you deal with pre-game nerves, okay? So I'm tying this all back to how do you deal with pre-game nerves? I'm tying this back to a way to evaluate the way you look at pre-game nerves. So there wants to be a balance between the two. Think about how many times we get stuck in one or the other. We get stuck in that internal dialogue. We get stuck in that internal voice, and that internal voice has limitless possibilities of what it's saying, but we get stuck in that internal voice. And then think about how many times we get stuck on the opposite side of it. Think about how many times we get stuck on external information coming in. And it comes from multiple sources. Teammates, it comes from people, right? Teammates and coaches, other players, other competitors. We're also bringing in information from places we associate different statuses to. So understand, to make a proper evaluation, to understand and to help us to actually deal with pregame nerves, we have to understand that we have to have some awareness that there needs to be a balance between the two. You can't be constricted completely by the internal voice, because then you have no way to evaluate anything on the outside. It's basically you on the earth with nobody else here. But the other side of the spectrum is that you have to evaluate information from those external sources and keep it in balance with the internal check. Keep it in check with the voice that's going on inside. So finding a balance between the two is actually the way that we deal with our pregame nerves. So we're not too stuck on the internal voice, and we're not too stuck on external sources of information. So it's a matter of balancing the external with the internal and not letting one completely outweigh the other. Because when that happens, when that imbalance comes into play, is when we get stuck in our nerves, is when we get stuck in our feelings, and when we get stuck dealing with that nervous energy, stuck dealing with that worry, that doubt, that insecurity that is a stranglehold for a lot of us. So like I said at the very beginning of this, different athletes deal with nerves in a different way, but it's a big stuck point for people. It's a big stuck point for athletes, actually finding a way to cope and to deal with those nerves. Because what happens if you never get over those nerves? Those nerves might come in when you're in middle school. Those nerves might come in when you're in high school. Those nerves might come in when you're in college. Those nerves might come in when you play professionally. But they're going to creep in. And the better you are equipped to deal with those nerves, the external and the internal sources of information, the internal and external ways that we evaluate information, then we're going to be able to better decide, we're going to be able to better decipher what's best for us. Hey, I hope you enjoyed that episode. If you did, please smash that subscribe button down below and leave your questions in the comment section, because that's the inspiration behind these videos, to help serve you guys specifically with what you're struggling with. And if you'd like to take things a step further, check the links in the description below. If you're interested in our coaching, if you're interested in checking me out on other platforms and connecting with me there, if you're interested in some of our other free training, definitely check it out in the description below. And I will see you guys on the next video.